Welcome back to another episode of Locomotive Histories, episode 2 to be exact. I am Mike Benitez. Today we'll be taking a look at a American-built locomotive, and this is more personal for me because I'm from Pennsylvania, and this locomotive was built in Pennsylvania. This locomotive was called the Pennsylvania Railroad, or PRR Class S1. Let's begin the story of this unique-looking locomotive. This locomotive was the only 6446 built locomotive. This meant that this locomotive had 6 front wheels, 2 sets of 4 driving wheels, and 6 trailing wheels, giving this the most unique locomotive of the Pennsylvania Railroad. To the origins of this locomotive, the PRR was trying to find new ways to replace their aging K4 locomotives. 2 K4s are still around today. The PRR also hoped that this new locomotive would match the power of the GG1, the most famous of all electric locomotives used on the Pennsylvania Railroad, and one of the most unique looking ones. The S1 itself was designed by Raymond Loewy, a famous designer for the Pennsylvania Railroad, who had also designed the K4 locomotives. The Pennsylvania Railroad wanted to find a locomotive that could pull 15 standard cars at a speed of 100 miles an hour. For Loewy, his idea was the S1. After much designing and having a perfect design, the locomotive was ready to be built. The locomotive's streamlined design was based off of that of the streamlined version of the K4 number 3768, another one of Raymond Loewy's designs. Soon, construction of the locomotive was commenced in 1939, and construction was finished in 1939, making this locomotive being built in 1 year. This locomotive will later become known as Pennsylvania Railroad number 6100. 6100 gained a milestone for the Pennsylvania Railroad as being the largest passenger locomotive ever to be built, and it still remains that today, giving her the nickname the Big Engine. However, the big engine was also very long, so long that the locomotive had trouble trying to get around curves, and it had troubles with wheel slipping, making this locomotive not very good to work on the Pennsylvania Railroad. Still, she was brought into service. Here we see the S1 after she was completed at the New York World's Fair of 1939. She looks spectacular in this photo. And so the S1 was later put on limited passenger services. Here we see her pulling the Trailblazer, the PRR's premier luxury all-coach train between New York and Chicago. And this picture was taken in 1942. And here we see an up close of the locomotive's wheels. However, as I mentioned earlier, the S1 wasn't without failure. She was wheel slipping and had several other problems, as well as too long to go around curves, and so the 6100 was the only locomotive to be built of this class, and she would never survive into preservation. However, she would attract much attention from the press, and I see why, judging by her very beautiful appearance. This could be my favorite locomotive of the PRR, but yeah, I don't know who's the best out of all of them, but I think the S1 is. What do you guys think? Could she be the best? Who knows? Maybe the T1s or the S1s. I mean, the S2s. However, as much popular the S1 was, it could not be saved. After serving for only 7 years on the Pennsylvania Railroad, she was scrapped in 1949. And the PRR would replace the S1s with the smaller but more efficient T1s. This locomotive was a monstrous locomotive, the biggest out of all locomotives, passenger locomotives, nicknamed the Big Engine. However, it could not be saved from scrap due to its flaws. Still, I could see that they could have just brought it into as like a a museum or into a museum or like a park. But that didn't happen for this locomotive, and she was scrapped. The 6100, a beautiful beast. But just think of it: walking along the tracks, walking next to the tracks, and seeing a monstrous locomotive passing you with 15 coaches. A beautiful sight. I still think this S1 could have been saved, but not in time. So, the S1 was the only locomotive to ever be built. That would be of the 6446 wheel arrangement. The 6100 was the only member of this class and was scrapped. Unlike the LNER, unlike the W1s, the LNER locomotives that I did in the previous video, there is no such thing that the S1 will not be built replica, but it could happen. However, there could be a replica of this built one day, like the LNER P2s that I did in the first video of the first episode of this series. However, there's something a bit odd about this locomotive that I'd like to point out. Is it just me, or does the S1's bullet nose design kind of looks like that of the J1? I don't know, but what do you guys think? Say in the comments, or the J class, I meant, not the J1s. What do you guys think? Say in the comment sections below. What do you guys think? Is this your favorite steam locomotive? Let me know in the comment section below of this video. I'll see you next time on the second episode of Locomotive Histories. I am Mike Benitez, signing off of the story of the PRR S1 number 6100, aka the Big Engine.